Good afternoon. I am Jessica Carroll, the program lead for Measure 110, and I'll be serving as your facilitator for today's meeting. The Oversight and Accountability Council welcomes and encourages community input. Members of the public are invited to submit public comments or get on our interested parties email list by emailing ohA.measure110@dhsoha.state.or.us. That email address and more information about the council can be found on the Measure 110 OAC website. For more information or support with community engagement, please contact me, Jessica Carroll, and my email will be dropped in the chat. OAC members have asked that OHA and other staff who are present in the meeting space introduce themselves in the chat. Please share your role with the agency, and if you are a subject matter expert, your area of expertise. Because this is a voting subcommittee, we will be asking for subcommittee members to declare any conflicts of interest that they may have. We will request these declarations before each full county. So if you would like to declare a conflict for the entire county, you may do so then. Additionally, we will be asking for potential or actual conflict of interest declarations before each organization is discussed. So please declare any conflicts when prompted by the facilitator. Please remember that if you do declare an actual conflict of interest, we ask that you mute your microphone and turn off your camera. We will let you know in the chat when it's time for you to return. If you have a potential conflict, you may remain in the room and vote after you declare it, if you so choose. And with that, I'm going to send it over to Walter for roll. Thank you, Walter.
Yeah, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Just let me know that you're here. I'm going to start from the top. Melinda.
Here.
Hey. Oops. Oh, just one sec. Thank you, Melinda. All right, Onisha.
Here.
Hello. Ron.
Ron, sir.
Okay. Amy.
I'm here.
All right. Hubert.
Here.
All right. Okay. We've got 5. We've met quorum. I'll turn it back to you, Jessica.
Thanks, Walter. Welcome, everyone, this evening, late evening, or late afternoon, early evening. So we have quorum, so we're going to go ahead and get started. We are moving to Union County. If you would like to declare a conflict of interest with the entirety of Union County, please do so now. Hearing none. The first organization that you all will be considering this evening for Union County is Boulder Care. If you have a conflict of interest you would like to declare for Boulder Care, please do so now. Hearing none. Oh, Boulder Care is applying to provide SUD treatment, peer support, and harm reduction in
Now,
Union.
before we get started, can I just, on the grid that you guys have, for it makes it appear that the only peer support services would be from Boulder Care, and that's just not the case.
Clerical error? Okay.
Yeah, the Center for Human Development is doing peer services as well.
Did they? Okay, let's see if they applied for that. Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, they did apply for that. So that is a clerical error on the top sheet, and it appears that the rubrics contain peer support. So we will. I will fix that now so I don't misstate it. Thank you, Ron. And that was Center for Human Development, correct?
Yes.
Good looking out, Ron. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. So we are currently at Boulder Care. Boulder Care is applying to provide SUD treatment, peer support, and harm reduction in Union County. There are 2 recommendations. One is partial and the other is no. You can find those rubrics under the Boulder Care 1 and Boulder Care 2 tabs in your Union County workbook. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to the subcommittee for discussion or a vote.
Are we on Boulder Care?
We are.
Yes.
I make a recommendation not to fund Boulder Care.
Can you make a motion? Hold on. Can you
I make a motion, I'm sorry, not to fund Boulder Care.
I second.
Okay, so we have a motion from Onisha not to fund Boulder Care in Union County and a second from Melinda. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'm going to hand it over to Walter for a vote.
Okay. All right. Motion on the table not to fund Boulder Care Union County. Melinda, how do you vote?
Yes, not to fund.
Okay. Onisha?
But she's still perplexed.
Yes, not to fund.
Okay. Ron?
Yes, not to fund.
All right. Amy?
Yes, not to fund.
Okay. Hubert?
Yes, not to fund.
Okay. And that is 5. Not to fund Boulder Care Inc., Union County. Back to you, Jessica.
Thank you, Walter. The next organization under consideration this evening is Center for Human Development. If you need to declare a conflict of interest for the Center of Human Development, please do so now. Hearing none. The Center for Human Development is applying to provide SUD treatment, peer support, housing, harm reduction, and supported employment. You have 2 recommendations. One is partial and one is yes. You can find those under the CHD1 and CHD2 tabs in your Union County workbooks. And I'm throwing it back to the subcommittee for a discussion or a vote.
Ain't gonna fit.
Is this Center for Human Development?
It is, Onisha.
What's the tab called?
CHD.
Thank you.
Okay. Budget is 3.8 million.
Was that a question, Onisha?
No,
Sorry.
I'm just
Okay.
checking in with my fellow subcommittee folks.
Sounds good.
Can we pay for childcare?
Yes.
Can we pay for pet boarding?
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
Medication costs and copays? Patient supplement, what does that mean?
Are you reading the proposal or are you reading the?
I'm reading the rubric. I didn't look at the proposal yet. I'm reading the rubric. Yeah, the recommender is saying that they need to focus their efforts specifically on peer support and harm reduction, employment support and SUD treatment. Like they're kind of all over the place. This is my first time seeing anything for pets. I mean, pet lovers, I'm sure, would appreciate that. I don't know. I'd like to hear from the rest of the team. 3.8 million is a lot. Do we have the information about the amount of people this is serving in this county?
Yeah, so
The spreadsheet that tells us the population?
yeah, they identify all populations in their spreadsheet.
No, I ain't talking about all population. I'm talking about the numbers.
I thought I saw it, but let me look. Population by county. Let me look here.
Yeah.
There's not going to be a lot over there in that county.
Yeah, so the population of Union County is 26,502
Total in totality?
in totality.
Yeah, and then probably the marginalized people is probably like 0.03% or something.
Jesus Christ.
Do you see the demographic questions for the burn? The application is designed in partnership with the following agencies as well. So they have like Lifeway, Cemetery, New Directions, Willowa Valley, Center for Human Development, and Community Counseling Solutions as their partners.
Amy,
Uh-huh.
quick, Amy, we are only looking at Center for Human Development. We cannot consider any other organizations.
That's who I'm on.
Okay, well, no, but I'm saying, if
I
you look
know.
at,
I'm just saying they're partnering with them. Okay, I'm good. Thank you.
So I guess my only question, if there's 26,000 people in the whole town, and I don't know what the percentage of that is active drug users, what's the percentage of 26,000 in the whole town?
So
How much they asking for?
So in the proposal, they talk about the number of people they can serve.
How many does it say, Ron?
And it says how many people can currently access each type of service in your county or nation, and will this grant increase or sustain those numbers? The CHD currently does not have exact data, but the organization serves approximately 1,200 clients per month, and these numbers will likely increase.
So 1,200 a month.
Yeah. And the services are pretty extensive.
Where are they located?
In Union County?
Union
I don't
County.
even know.
Oh, where's Union County? Is that LeGrand or what is that? What city are we talking about here?
We're Union County.
Yes.
Union County is in the northern, like the northeastern part of the state.
Idaho.
So what cities are there? It has to be Oregon. What cities in Oregon are in that county?
If I'm not mistaken, I think it's a small county, right? And I think it's north. But that's, you said northeastern. That's up there by the corner, up there by Washington and Idaho, if I'm not mistaken. Am I correct?
Yeah, I took it
That
as when they
little
said they're
county.
having that LeGrand is in here. That something with LeGrand is they help out. That's more Eastern Oregon,
This
and
is
they have a lot
Yeah,
of
that's more
small
Eastern.
towns around
this is
there,
Amy. This is
That
Amy.
is-
It's LeGrand, Cove, Island City, North Powder, Limber, Somerville.
but- Okay.
I pulled it up on like Elgin, and that's
Okay.
Elgin. So Union
Yes.
County, LeGrand, Cove, Island City. So yeah, LeGrand's up in there. I'm
It's a
just
bunch
trying
of
to
small, little farm towns or whatever.
It's the rural. Yeah.
yeah.
It says Union County is one of who sentences 26,000 people in their population. So yeah. So it's LeGrand, North Powder, Somerville, things like that. Yep.
So they're going to service
Yeah.
the entire county, which is great. with
Yeah.
all those.
I would
Color
just
weather.
say, I definitely think that they're deserving of something, but some of these itemized, I question, like the pet support is way more than the hygiene supplies. If they have this many people, if they need $144,000 for naloxone kits and fentanyl strips, it seemed like they would need more than $3,000 in hygiene supplies, but they're asking for pet support $27,000.
So the reason why that is, I'm gonna tell you why that is, because that area they have a lot of ranches and stuff. So there's a lot. When they say pets, they're not talking about like cats and dogs. They're talking about, they got like farm animals and stuff. I'm not
But
mistaken.
we don't pay for farm animals.
So I just want to just kind of drive us back a little bit. Can I drive us back? I mean, it's a solid proposal. There's some expenses that I think if we pick through it, we'd probably be able to identify some things. But just fundamentally, I feel like we're in a place of making a motion for partial funding with negotiated expenses, because I'm not sure what the limit is, but I think they're gonna be over anyway.
Do we need to say, Jessica, what those expenses are? Because this is an extensive list. It's like 25 items on here.
Right.
So I guess my question for you would be, are there 25 items that you don't want to fund? Or
There's probably at least 5 or 6. I don't think we do medication costs or copays unless it's different in this county. The pet stuff, I don't know.
I actually do think we're able to do co-pays. I'm pulling out the rules, but I think we did allow for that.
And that's just for people that can't afford their medications and
That's right.
have a copay. Yeah, so I believe that we did, because that's a super important need in the rural areas.
Mm-hmm.
And some people don't qualify for OHP or any other medical resources.
So are we fine with just letting say partial funding and let OHA battle it out?
Yes.
Sounds good to me.
we will take note of the pet expenses, Onisha.
Yeah.
So is that a motion?
That's a motion. I would like to make a motion to have OHA really take a look at this personnel, which is 1.4 million. We'll really take a look at the services and supplies, which is also 1.4 million. And that seems very extensive.
Okay,
and you guys work it out. But partial funding, yes.
Okay. So Onisha has made a motion to fund partially.
Second.
Ron has seconded. Any more discussion? Hearing none. Walter.
All right. Motion to partially fund Center for Human Development, Union County. Melinda, how do you vote?
Yes, to partially fund.
Okay. Anisha?
Yes.
Okay. Ron?
Yes.
All right. Amy?
Yes.
Okay. And Hubert?
Yes, partially fund.
All right. And that passes with 5 to partially fund Center for Human Development, Union County. Back to you.
Thanks, Walter. The next organization and the last one in Union County under consideration this evening is Eastern Oregon Center for Independent Living. To declare a conflict of interest for Eastern Oregon Center for Independent Living, please do so now. Uh-oh, who'd we lose? We lost Hubert. Oh, there he is. Okay, great. Hearing none. Hubert, we're on Eastern Oregon Center for Independent Living. Do you have a conflict of interest?
No.
Okay, great. Oh, and Lana has joined us. Welcome, Lana.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
We can. in the Union County workbook that was emailed out. We are on the third organization in the Union County workbook, and it is Eastern Oregon Center for Independent Living. And so, do you need to declare conflict of interest for Eastern Oregon Center for Independent Living?
I do not.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so Eastern Oregon Center for Independent Living is applying to provide housing and harm reduction in Union County. There are two recommendations. One is yes, and one is yes partial. You can find those recommendations on the EOCIL and EOCIL2 tabs in your Union County workbook. And with that, I'm going to throw it back to the subcommittee for discussion or a vote.
I make a recommendation to fund.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to, is that a motion, Onisha?
One person is saying partial, but it's for people with HIV, right? And the transgender community.
Yeah.
And then this is in the same rural area, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it is. It's a much needed. So.
Yeah, and they're not even asking for nearly as much as the other one. They're only asking for $141,000. I recommend to fully fund them.
Thank you, Onisha. Was that a second on that, Ron?
Yes.
Okay, so we have a motion from Onisha to fully fund Eastern Oregon Center for Independent Living. We have a second from Ron.
Open the baby wipe.
Any more discussion?
Open the baby wipes out the bathroom. Sorry, y'all.
It's okay. It's okay.
You're right.
Hearing no more discussion about Eastern Oregon Center for Independent Living, I'm going to throw it over to Walter.
All right. Motion to fund. The EOCIL is on my sheet for Union County. Melinda, how do you vote?
Yes to fund.
Okay. Onisha?
Yes to fund.
Okay. Ron?
Yes.
Okay. Amy?
Yes.
All right. Hubert?
Yes to fund.
Okay. And Lana?
Yes to fund.
All right. And that's 6 to fund Eastern Oregon Center for Independent Living for Union County. And I'll pass it back to you, Jessica.
Thank you. It looks like we lost Hubert again. Hopefully he will join us.
I'm back. I'm back somehow.
Oh,
It keeps going out.
it's magic. All right, so you all have finished Union County. Yay! Congratulations. We only have one county left for.
Yay.
Yeah, I got a yay from Melinda on that one. Okay. So we're going into Josephine County. So please pull out your Josephine County workbooks. If anyone needs to declare a conflict of interest with the entirety of Josephine County, please do so now. Hearing none. The first one.
I just want to say Josephine County is in Southern Oregon between Curry and Jackson County.
Thank you. Oh, no. I hate you. Thank you.
What's the population? Since you want to be funny.
It's a little bigger than Union County, I bet you.
Yeah, so the 97. And it looks like Grants passed.
Yeah. And Klamath Falls, a place like that. Huh?
I don't think Klamath Falls. It might. Let me look. So Josephine County, the county seat is Grants Pass.
Okay.
But it's down there by Klamath Falls. I don't think. No, it's more west, right? So it's in between, kind of like the Klamath Falls, between Medford and the ocean.
Right.
Okay.
It's Grants Pass, Cave Junction.
Yep.
and all those places around there.
Yep.
All right. Okay.
Okay. So we
I need
ready?
to know these things.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, Melinda is ready, so we're all ready. Okay.
Too much Red Bull today. I'm ready. Let's go.
Uh-oh. Okay. The first organization under consideration in Josephine County is ADAPT. If you need to declare a conflict of interest with ADAPT, please do so now.
Oh, God. My phone just keeps, it's just been good. Is it my Wi-Fi or is it just, is my Wi-Fi acting crazy?
What?
Is my Wi-Fi acting crazy? It's just the whole thing.
It's fine on my end.
Okay.
All right. So hearing no conflicts of interest with ADAPT, ADAPT is applying to provide SU treatment, peer support, housing, harm reduction, and supported employment in Josephine County. There are two recommendations. One is partial and one is yes. You can find those under the ADAPT 1 and ADAPT 2 tabs in your Josephine County workbook.
Yeah, I'm just doing the name. You gone?
I make a motion to partially fund.
A second.
A second.
All right, so we have a motion to partially fund. So we have a motion to partially fund from Onisha. We have a second from, I believe, Melinda, or was it Melinda or Amy? Was it Melinda?
It was me.
Yeah.
Okay. Melinda got there first.
I'll take it.
So I have a question. Why do you want to partially fund them and not fully fund them?
Because the rubric reader number 1 has some very valid concerns about the salary that they were hiring. They like, for instance, they asked for a workforce stabilization for $504,000 without the applicant specifying how the funds will be used. And they did not give a measurable outcome about where that $504,000 was going. They also had some CADC trainings in there that they didn't feel were relevant to us funding peers. And they didn't want to fund the one-time purpose of the property because the applicant didn't provide any details of where, when, or how.
So we have a motion to partially fund with those notes, right? Does that sound agreeable to the council?
Yes.
Or is there any more discussion?
Sounds agreeable to me.
All right, hearing no dissent and no other discussion. We have a motion on the floor from Onisha to partially fund with a note, with the caveat to look at the notes with the council, the subcommittee concerns. And we have a second from Melinda. Walter.
Right. Motion on the table to partially fund ADAPT Josephine County. Melinda, how do you vote?
Yes, to partially fund.
Okay. Onisha?
Yes, to partially fund.
Okay. Ron? Ron, you there?
I did not realize my camera and my microphone was off. Yes.
Okay. Thanks, Ron. Amy?
Yes.
All right. And Hubert?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And Alana?
Yes, to partially fund.
All right. And that passes with 6 to partially fund ADAPT Josephine County. Back to you, Jessica.
Thank you. The next organization under consideration this evening is Boulder Care. If you have a conflict of interest with Boulder Care, please declare it. Hearing none. Boulder Care is applying to provide SUD treatment, peer support, and harm reduction in Josephine County. There are 2 recommendations. One is no, and one is yes. You can find those under your Boulder Care 1 and Boulder Care 2 tabs in your Josephine County workbook. With that, I send it back to the subcommittee.
I recommend not to fund Boulder Care.
Second.
All right, we have a motion from Onisha not to fund Boulder Care. We have a second from Ron. Do we have any further discussion? Hearing none. When you're ready, Walter.
Holiday sale where you can get the biggest discounts of the season on certain
Walter,
You guys? Oh, sorry about that. All right. So Onisha made the motion and Ron seconded it, right?
That is correct.
Okay. All right. Motion to not fund Boulder Care, Josephine County. Melinda, how do you vote?
Yes, not to fund.
Okay. Onisha?
Yes, not to fund.
Okay. Ron?
Yes.
Okay. Amy?
Yes.
Okay. Hubert?
Yes, not to fund.
Okay. And Lana?
Yes, not to fund.
Okay. And that passes with 6 not to fund Boulder Care, Josephine County. Back to you, Jessica.
Thanks, Walter. The next organization on the list for consideration is Grace Roots. If you have a conflict of interest with Grace Roots that you need to declare, please do so now. Hearing none, Grace Roots is applying to provide housing in Josephine County. There are 2 recommendations. One is a no and one is a yes. You can find those recommendations under the Grace Roots 1 and Grace Roots 2 tabs in your Josephine County workbook. And with that, I send it back to the subcommittee.
So in their proposal, I'm just going to briefly talk about what's in their proposal. They intend to provide housing services. They are phase 1, estimate 6 to 8 beds for pregnant women with opioid and other SUD challenges during pregnancy and 6 to 12 months after birth. Startup funds are also requested to begin planning for phase 2, which is expected to have 10 to 15 beds of supportive housing for other client populations. Grace Roots intends to lease or enter into a lease to own transaction with an existing large house, a residential facility to create the Hope Home. The Hope Home will have an estimated 6 to 8 beds for pregnant women with opioid and other SUD challenges. This will be new supportive housing units in Josephine County. The grant request includes startup funds to begin the planning, which would include an estimated additional 10 to 15 units of supportive housing beds for additional clients. We intend to apply for additional funds. Well, I guess that's irrelevant.
I make a motion to fund.
I second her motion.
All right, we have a motion from Onisha to fund Grace Roots in Josephine County. We have a second from Amy. Any more discussion? Hearing none. Walter, when you're ready.
Actually, I do have a question.
Oh,
do they identify, I don't have the workbook in front of me, but do they identify who the rest of the beds will go to? The additional clients?
That was the language. I just read the language they used, and they did not identify who the rest of the population.
It says it will go to basically mothers with children, that they will help them for follow-up after treatment for 12 months after they give birth.
6 to 12 months. Okay.
Yeah, 6 to 12 months.
Okay. So it's those folks, not other identified client population.
No, it looks like moms or people who are pregnant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
All right. Any further discussion? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Luna. I didn't.
Yeah, I mean, it also says all the clients have a history of substance use. So the housing, even if the housing wasn't for pregnant women, it'd be for folks who have SUD disorder, or folks who have SUD yes, SUD.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Hearing no more discussion, Walter,
Motion to fund Grace, Roots, Josephine County. Melinda, how do you vote?
Yes to fund.
Okay. Onisha?
Yes to fund.
Okay. Ron?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
Okay. Hubert?
Yes, to fund.
Okay. And Lana?
Yes to fund.
All right. And that passes with 6 to fund Grace, Roots, Josephine County. Back to you, Jessica.
thank you, Walter. The next organization to be considered this evening is Grants Pass Sobering Center. If you have a conflict of interest you need to declare for Grants Pass Sobering Center, please do so now. All right, hearing none. Grants Pass Sobering Center is applying to provide SUD treatment, peer support, and harm reduction in Josephine County. You have 2 recommendations. One is a yes and one is a yes partial. You can find those under the GPSC1 and GPSC2 tabs in your Josephine County workbook. And with that, I'll pass it back to the subcommittee.
Trying to make sure I have the right application here. Oh, that's option, sorry.
We already have this proposal, correct?
Yes, you do. It was sent on Tuesday.
I got it. I found it.
What does the title say of that? What does it say on the, what is that title name? Does it say final RTA, burn RFTA?
No.
Title is RFGA 5308 budget final.
So that's just about it. So final RFGA.
I'm sorry, you're right. You're talking about the application. It's final draft application.
Final draft. Okay, thank you.
She's very nice. Very upset with her son's death. Her son's 35.
Right, Grants Pass Sobering.
Despite Dr. G's findings.
So it looks like they're doing peers and harm reduction only. Is that right? Hello?
I'm looking at it with you, Ron. This budget
Yes.
is so basic. Ouch.
They're only doing peers and harm reduction.
That is correct.
They have a check mark on said treatment though. I mean, I don't know what that is.
That was error by the person who put this together.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, apologies.
I mean, on the surface, I really like the idea of a sobering center. It's a great idea. It's a great service that's really needed in every community.
How much are they asking for?
They're not asking for a lot. It's look like 229,000.
Yeah.
I make a motion to fund this GPSC.
I'll second. Yeah, I'll second it.
All right, so we have a motion from Melinda to fund Grants Pass Sobering Center. We have a second from Amy. Is there any more discussion?
Pediatric trauma surgeon of 25 years gives her a quick tutorial.
All right, hearing none. Whenever you're ready, Walter.
Sounds good. All right, motion to fund Grants Pass Sobering Center, Josephine County. Melinda, how do you vote?
Yes to fund.
Okay. Onisha?
Yes to fund.
Okay. Ron?
Yes.
Okay. Amy?
Yes.
Okay. Hubert?
Yes to fund.
Okay. And Lana?
Yes to fund.
All right. And that passes with 6 to fund Grants Pass Sobering Center, Josephine County. Back to you, Jessica.
Thank you, Walter. The next organization under consideration this evening is the HIV Alliance. If you have a conflict of interest to declare, please do so now. Hearing none, HIV Alliance is applying to provide peer support, housing, and harm reduction in Josephine County. Two recommendations, one is yes and one is yes partial. You can find those under the HIV Alliance 1 and HIV Alliance 2 tabs in your Josephine County workbook. Passing it back to the subcommittee.
My apologies, everyone, but I do not have the workbook or computer in front of me. Can somebody tell me the reasons why the recommendation for partial?
They said that they did not give enough additional information for peer support and housing services. But I'm still reading through those rubrics to see if I agree personally. I'm trying to see what they wrote.
In the top of the weaknesses, it says applicant provides needed services to region. However, proposal lacks specificity and connection to BM 110 goals.
So here's what it says in the application. HIV Alliance peer support specialists work from a harm reduction perspective. Our approach is evidence-based, person-centered, trauma-informed, low barrier, non-judgmental. Services are provided to be culturally and linguistically specific and responsive. This is absolutely fundamental to our goal of engaging and appropriately serving communities most impacted by SUD, BIPOC, and LGBTQIA2S+ communities. We recruit peers that are representative of people we serve, as well as support our peers in receiving extensive training on providing culturally responsive care and engaging with community organizations that serve priority populations. The proposed peer in Josephine County will have a special focus on serving rural communities and people who use drugs, who face significant gaps in access to SUD treatment, especially services that are culturally responsible and harm reduction based. Our clients range from people who are actively using to people who are contemplating recovery but face barriers to treatment, to individuals in need of recovery support. No person is turned away for active use or relapse. Rather, our peers work to protect these clients from illness through harm reduction counseling and supplies that help and break down any barriers to wellness. We work to support participants' identified harm reduction goals, provide support across a variety of domains, provide ongoing mentoring. I'm not sure what's not specific about that.
Well, that's because you're not really reading the parts where the people are having concerns. I think you're reading in column D where they're highlighting the strengths.
No, I'm reading directly from the application.
No, well, the lady that asked that doesn't have her, I think she's requesting why the the evaluator said partial funding, because she wanted to know that information specifically.
Thank you,
Recommended
Anisha.
modifications are, they need to elaborate on timeline and implementation prior to awarding. That looked like that was a concern. They want to know how the peers would match to the clients to ensure good fit. How do the clients connect MAT providers, and how does the applicant support clients who choose MAT?
Yeah, it sounds like they thought that they had they were strong in one area, but not strong in some of the other areas. I make a recommendation to partially fund.
Okay, is there a specific service element that you would not like to fund?
Can I lean on OHA to talk about it by reading the person who evaluated this proposal, to read their concerns and have OHA address it with the proposal? I think that would be most fair. Thank you. Is that something that we can't do?
Well, I just, the goal here is for your concerns to be communicated. So like if you have, like, if there's a specific service element that you don't want to fund, or a specific like purchase or employee that you don't want to fund, or if you want to call back to a specific cell in the rubric, just say, OHA, please look at cell, here are our concerns. We just want to make sure they're your concerns, is all. Does that make sense?
Well, the person who evaluated this proposal, I think their concerns should be noted. And then I thought we were told that we didn't have to necessarily say what we wanted to not partially fund.
That's right.
Well, I think that I just want to ensure that we are getting what you want when we go in it, because you all delegated negotiation, right? And so this all has to be communicated to them. So
okay, well,
you want every concern addressed or just specific concerns?
Where's the lady who's the original subcommittee member? Can we hear from her?
Are you speaking about me?
Yes, well, I can't see your name. I'm so sorry.
Oh, it's Lana.
Lana, did you, from what you've heard me and Melinda reading about what the person had concerned, what do you think we should highlight as partially funding?
Well, I guess, so for me, I automatically lean to actually fully funding them as opposed to partial. I think the concerns about how are you matching, peers with a good fit, I think that, that's a little too much specificity, because that's not what any other place is expected to do, or that we've called into question with any other application when they say that they're going to, use peers, right? So why is the standard higher there, I think?
Right.
So for me, I feel like for those folks that, don't have the writers to write to specifically what it is that we think that we want to hear, especially if we keep changing the target, I don't think that that's very fair. So rather than partially fund them, for me, I'm actually leaning toward fully funding them. How much are they asking for?
308,000.
Yeah, not very much. And I think that I want to support. Why am I echoing? I want to support you, Lana, because you've been talking about these people and reading about them for a lot longer than me. So based on what you just said, I would like to rescind my motion. And if you fully support fully funding them, then I want to support you if you would like to make that motion.
I would.
Wait a minute.
Oh, go ahead.
So what were we questioning about the peers being served.
Well,
what
it was about the peer. It was about. I recall hearing something about for them to identify how they're going to, appropriately match peers with whomever it is that they are supporting.
Yeah, we didn't ask that of nobody else, but I can probably see why they did it there, because there's really not a huge marginalized community over there.
Right, but I think that the definition of peer is so broad, as defined by OHA, that I don't think that that's a particular consideration that we should be kind of focusing in on.
Well, a peer.
I wouldn't say that I would focus in on, because I don't see us focusing in on that for any of the other, applicants even in the rural areas.
Well, a peer is a person that's have lived experience. That's what a peer is.
Well, but as it's also defined, it's also defined as people who have helped people navigate the systems if they have someone who's been impacted or who is impacted by symptoms.
Walter, did you catch me say I rescinded my motion to partially fund, leaving the floor open for Lana to make a motion to fully fund if she would like?
Yes.
Okay. Yep. Got you, Anisha. Thank you for that. Yep.
So I would like to make a motion to fully fund.
Second.
All right. Thank you, Lana. So I'm sorry, is it Lana? I keep saying Lana. It's the
yes,
I have a
it's
nasally
Lana.
A. I apologize. I tend to go nasally with my A's.
No worries.
All right. We have a motion on the floor from Lana to fund HIV Alliance in Josephine County. We have a second from Ron. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none. Walter?
Yeah. All right. Motion to fund HIV Alliance, Josephine County. Melinda, how do you vote?
Abstain.
Okay. Onisha?
Yes.
Okay. Ron?
Yes.
Okay. Amy?
Sorry, yes.
All right. Hubert?
Yes.
Okay. Lana?
Yes.
All right. That passes with 5 to fund HIV Alliance, Josephine County. And I'll
All
turn
right.
it back to you, Jessica.
Thank you. It is 4:58, so it's time for a break. We are halfway through Josephine County. So y'all want 5 or 10 minutes?
10.
When we get done with this, are we done with everything? All the counties done? We're done, completely done?
This subcommittee will be completely done with their counties once we finish Josephine.
If we have enough time, can we talk about something with our subcommittee? If people have enough time?
Absolutely. Well, you should have enough time because this is scheduled till 7 and y'all are likely not going to, every time I say it's not going to happen, it happens. So I'm just going to be quiet.
Yeah, if people want to, if people have the time. All right.
All right, great. We will see it at 5:10. I can't do math. Thank you. All right, welcome back. Who do we have back?
I'm back.
Oh, Hubert's back. Ron's back. Who else is back?
Lana's here.
Lana's back. Onisha's back. We got Amy and Melinda.
Is Amy in here?
Sorry, I was blowing my nose.
It just take me a minute for find the mute.
Yeah, no worries. So we have Amy and we have Melinda. Oh, and we have our next organization in Josephine County. I'm sorry, did somebody say something to me? Okay. Next organization is Max's Mission. If you need to declare please do so now. Hearing none, Max's Mission is applying to provide harm reduction in Josephine County. You have two recommendations. One is no, and one is yes. You can find these under your Max's Mission 1 and Max's Mission 2 tabs in the bottom of your Josephine County workbook. And with that, I'm going to give it back to the subcommittee.
I think this is a strong harm reduction proposal. I looked to see what the problem that the reviewer number 2 had with the proposal, why they said no. And the reason they said no was because the reviewer didn't understand that capital costs and construction were allowable under Measure 110 funding. And so the reviewer is saying, reviewer number 2 is saying the ask is for an initial outlay of $500 to create a harm reduction center in Grants Pass if the construction costs and purchasing and building are not appropriate use of Measure 110 funds. Everything else is appropriate, but the use of Measure 110 funds for construction and purchasing a building is appropriate, and $500,000 for a harm reduction center in Grants Pass seems reasonable to me.
Thanks, Ron. Anyone else?
Yes, quite frequently I disagree with Ron. Unfortunately, this is one of those times I feel since they are only applying for harm reduction, I'm not clear as to why we would shell out $500,000 for a building, especially if majority of their services are going to happen in their mobile unit, which makes sense because in Oregon, we have not passed a law to have safe shooting galleries, which would make a harm reduction building make sense if it was a safe shooting gallery. But since that is not applicable, I'm not sure why we would spend $500,000 on a building when the harm reduction is going to happen in the streets. And they also requested a mobile unit.
So
I would say, I would recommend, I'm not getting to the motion, but that's my discussion, but I would recommend partially funding the mobile unit, the harm reduction supplies, minus the $500,000 for the building.
Sorry, Onisha. Thank you. Thank you.
I would second that.
Well, that wasn't a motion. It was a recommendation.
Oh, I thought you made a motion. Sorry.
No, but you're letting us know you would second that motion. So actually, thank you very much.
Yeah, I think the mobile outreach is a much needed thing. And yeah, so.
Thanks, Amy. Any other thoughts?
I make a motion to partially fund minus the purchase of real property.
A second.
Thank you, Onisha. So we have a motion from Onisha to fund Max's Mission in Josephine County, removing the real property. We have a second from Amy. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none. Walter, when you're ready. Walter, you're muted.
There it is. It was stuck. All right. Motion to partially fund Max's Mission, Josephine County. Melinda, how do you vote?
Yes to partially fund.
Okay. Onisha.
Yes to partially fund.
Okay. Ron.
Yes.
Amy.
Yes.
Okay. Hubert.
Yes, partially fund.
Okay. And Lana.
Yes, partially fund minus property.
Okay. All right. That passes with 6 to partially fund Max's Mission, Josephine County. Turning back to you, Jessica.
Thanks, Walter. The next organization on your list is On Track Inc. If you need to declare a conflict of interest with On Track Inc., please do so now. Hearing none, On Track Inc. is applying to provide SUD treatment, peer support, housing, harm reduction, and supported employment in Josephine County. You have 2 recommendations. They are both yes. You can find those in the On Track 1 and On Track 2 tabs in your Josephine County workbook. And I send it back to the subcommittee.
Are you all comfortable with making a motion to go with the recommendation of the reviewers?
Yeah, reading through it, it looks like it makes sense. It's expensive, but
Oh, good.
it's creating 30 beds. So
Yeah, that's a lot. So
yeah.
I'd like to make a motion to fully fund.
Second.
Don't like the tables be shared.
All right. We have a motion to fund options for Southern Oregon from Amy. We have a second from Ron. Any more discussion? Hearing none. Walter, when you're ready.
All right. Motion on the table to fund On Track Inc., Josephine County. Melinda, how do you vote?
Yes to fully fund.
Okay. Onisha?
Yes.
Okay. Ron?
Yes.
Okay. Amy?
Yes.
All right. Hubert?
Yes.
Okay. And Lana?
Yes.
All right. And that passes with 6 to fund On Track Inc., Josephine County. Back to you, Jessica.
Thank you, Walter. And I just want to call out that I accidentally said options earlier because that's the next organization, and I made a mistake. I apologize. So the next organization is Options for Southern Oregon. If you have a conflict of interest to declare for Options of Southern Oregon, please do so now. Hearing none. Options for Southern Oregon is applying to provide SUD treatment, peer support, housing, harm reduction, and supported employment in Josephine County. There are 2 recommendations. They are both yes. You can find those on the OSO1 and OSO2 tabs in your Josephine County workbook. And
So just to clarify, we fully funded On Track, correct?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Mm-hmm.
How much are they asking for in the budget?
It looks like 1.5 million,
But they're covering all the services?
covering all the services.
I think that's pretty good. What are their salaries for their employees?
Let me look them up real quick. Did we get the budget for options? I'm not seeing it.
Believe we set everything for Josephine County. Sydney?
Oh, unless they put it inside their, let me see if they put it inside their proposal.
The file's called Final RFGA 5308, Josephine County, Burn, subsection 4, budget options for Southern Oregon.
Okay, I found it. Ooh, little. Let me see. Okay, 3 peers divided by 14 is what? 14.8. So yeah, so it looks like $4,900 a month.
For how many of them?
So they're paying 3 of them, but the total cost is $14,872. So they're getting about $5,000 a month.
They're required to pay a living wage.
The peers
So
are getting
that's
5,000 a month.
$2,500 every 2 weeks. And for
That's
their
a living wage for that area?
That's a lot for a peer.
We can't pay the nurse practitioner, unfortunately. They asked for $135,000 for that.
I mean, I could see if it was huge county like Multnomah.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's a lot for a peer. Yeah.
They're paying employment coordinators and case managers.
Mm-hmm.
They got an incentive program. I like that. That's pretty good. $7,000 for 18 months. But it doesn't have, you know how it has the percentage of like all their benefits? I don't see that listed in here, so they could have put it in the full final cost of each person. Because you know how most of them put like another huge number for benefits? They don't have that on here. So it could be for each individual. So that $5,000 a month could be including their benefits package, which they wouldn't actually get paid that, but it would just pay their dental and medical plan. So I would make a motion to recommend partial funding minus the nurse practitioner. And it sounds like we have some concerns about salary if OHA can take a look at salary.
All right, so we have a motion from Anisha to partially fund removing the nurse practitioner and ensuring that the salaries are appropriate.
Second.
We have a second from Ron. Any more discussion? Hearing none, when you're ready, Walter.
All right. All right, motion to partially fund. And that is options for Oregon, Southern Oregon, Josephine County. Melinda, how do you vote?
Yes.
Okay. Onisha?
Yes, and I take that back. They did add administrative costs at 10%.
Okay. Ron?
Wait, so I have a question. Onisha, are you saying that they're paying the $5,000 a month and that's excluding benefits?
Yeah, more than 5,000 actually, because I didn't add the, yep.
So what is that, like $100,000 a year?
It's $282,000 a year for all three of the peers.
So in the personnel narrative, they 3 peers at $20 per hour and additional compensation, including medical, dental, life insurance, retirement, and associated costs.
Okay.
So it's basically $94,000 a year per person, well, per 18 months.
That's 18 months, yeah.
Yeah, because it's an 18-month budget.
Yeah. We have a 1 FTE peer supervisor at $25 per hour plus compensation, plus additional medical, dental, life insurance, retirement, associated costs.
But none of that is coming out of the salary budget. They have an additional 10% down there that's paying for the benefits.
Okay.
Ron, how do you vote?
Yes.
All right. Amy?
Yes.
Okay. Hubert?
Yes.
Okay. And Lana?
Yes, to partially fund minus the nurse practitioner and to take a look at salaries.
Okay. All right. That passes with 6 to partially fund for options for Southern Oregon, Josephine County. And I'll turn it back over to you, Jessica.
Thank you, Walter. The next organization under consideration this evening is Rogue Retreat in Josephine County. If you have a conflict of interest and you need to declare it for Rogue Retreat in Josephine County, please do so. Hearing none, Rogue Retreat is applying to provide housing in Josephine County. There are 2 recommendations. Both are yes. You can find that in the Rogue Retreat 1 and Rogue Retreat 2 tabs in your Josephine County workbooks. And with that, I turn it back to the subcommittee.
There was a lot of concerns noted in the housing services. They didn't have a full understanding of MAT, lack of current capacity. Concerns include the timeline. The proposal would need to strengthen their approach to outreach to people with diverse cultural backgrounds and to people in the gay community. Proposal admits that robust training is needed to better work with individuals who identify as LGBTQ. The proposal gave no timelines, and the timeline is full of housing services, like various ones. Gives no clear indication of ease of access to peers. No outreach plan. No view on serving underserved or diverse populations. It mentions that their intentions of developing additional housing models, but does not specify clear objectives. These are red flags for me. Anytime you're asking, in my opinion, for $3.1 million, I need you to be detailed as possible. But that's just me.
Thanks, Onisha. Anyone else have any thoughts?
What was
The reviewer said yes, but then they're the ones that listed all those concerns. And they said yes, if outline is clear. I don't know if they were requesting that OHA kind of force them to create a better outline and timeline. So I don't understand the yes. They weren't real clear with their recommendation. And the other one was a strong yes. The other one was a yes if outline is cleared up.
So would it be possible for us to send this one back to the reviewers for clarification?
This is our last day of review.
And
okay.
And unfortunately, we can't ask for. They can't provide us any new information because the RFGA is closed.
Okay.
Can I make a motion?
So,
I
want to make a motion.
You definitely can make a motion.
Yeah, I want to make a motion, not to fund.
All right. Okay, so we have a motion. We have a motion from Hubert not to fund.
The second from Amy.
Rogue Retreat in Josephine County. We have a second from Amy. Is there any more discussion?
I just agree with I agree with the motion. It's like $250,000 every month to fund this program. And that seems very extensive for this population. So I agree.
Thank you. Onisha, is there any more discussion? Hearing none. Walter, when you're ready.
Okay. Motion not to fund Rogue Retreat, Josephine County. Melinda, how do you vote?
Yes, not to fund.
Okay. Onisha?
Yes, not to fund.
Okay. Ron?
I'm going to abstain from this one.
Okay. Amy?
Yes.
Okay. Hubert? Hubert?
Yes, not to fund. I'm sorry.
All right. And Lana?
Yes, not to fund.
Okay. And that passes with 5, with 1 abstention to not fund Rogue Retreat, Josephine County. Back to you, Jessica.
Thank you. Thank you, Walter. The last organization to consider in Josephine County is the Family Nurturing Center. If you have a conflict of interest with the Family Nurturing Center and you need to declare that, please do so now. Hearing none, the Family Nurturing Center is applying to provide SUD treatment, peer support, and housing in Josephine County. You have two, hold on, sorry, I had a cat kick my mouse. You have two recommendations. One is yes to fund, one is yes partial. You can find those under the FNC1 and FNC2 tabs in your Josephine County workbook. And with that, I hand it back to the subcommittee.
Oh, I am reading that wrong. This proposal is for peers and housing?
No, it looks like it's for parents.
Right. So under the peer support, they're saying the Family Nurturing Center has a team of 6 certified recovery mentors that work as parent mentors in Josephine and Jackson counties. All parent mentors share the lived experience of being an individual in recovery, as well as those experience involvement in the child welfare system. All of our parent mentor CRMs have experience having their children placed out of their care due to their struggles with SUD, and they were able to obtain long-term recovery and regain custody of their children. Parent alumni sit on our board and help inform our work. The grant would allow FNC to add 3 additional certified recovery parent mentors in Jackson County, at least one that would be bilingual.
So are we in Josephine County or Jackson County?
We are in Josephine County.
So what does Jackson County have to do with this budget?
That's what I'm reading.
Support, help, staff, explain. Is there 2 counties that work together or something, Jessica? Is it?
I just realized I was muted. I'm sorry. So Josephine County and Jackson County are right next to each other. So in Josephine, you have Grants Pass, and in Jackson, you have Medford. And so it's they bump up against each other. If that helps.
That's just totally legal. So it's okay, right?
Well, it's not illegal. I'm just kidding.
But I'm saying though, it's okay for us to fund it if we.
Grants Pass and Jackson County are at least 60 miles apart or 50 miles apart in different counties.
Right, but the Josephine and the Jackson bump up against each other.
Right.
Yeah, is what I'm saying.
But okay, so here's my clarifying question, and it's kind of serious because like before, and when other people applied for Multnomah County, they were asking for money for Hillsborough or money for, and we had strict guidelines. If they're asking for money for Hillsborough, you can't fund that from Multnomah. So that's what I'm asking here. If they're saying this money is going to serve people in Jackson, can we only fund what they're requesting that's going to serve Josephine?
That was my understanding too.
Yeah, absolutely. You all have consistently and rightly, I would say, ensured that you only funded services for the counties that they applied in, right? And so I think that it would be consistent for you to do that here as well.
Okay. So can we make a motion to partially fund the program unless someone has concerns, and have OHA fund the things that are for Josephine County and not Jackson County?
Yes, and was that a motion?
Yes.
Okay, so we have a motion from Onisha to fund the Family Nurturing Center in Josephine County, ensuring that we are only paying for services in Josephine County.
Can I correct you a little bit? I want to say partially fund. I'm sorry, Jeff.
No, that's my fault. So we have a motion from Onisha to partially fund the Family Nurturing Center in Josephine County, ensuring that all services that are funded through this contract are for Josephine County. Was that correct?
Yes.
Okay, great. Perfect.
And I'm totally open. If I was saying I'm open to sway, because rural areas are a little bit different than cities. You know what I'm saying? Because like rural areas are a little bit different. Like that may be the onlyest thing that is there for them to access. And if a city is next to it and there's only 600 people in that city, I don't know how rural areas work. So I would be more than, I don't know. I'm just saying that I don't know.
So to be fair, Onisha, in the RFGA, it did state in the rule that you had to apply. If you wanted to apply for 2 counties, you had to put in 2 separate applications.
Okay.
And we have held everyone to that standard.
Thank you.
Yep. So again, we have a motion from Onisha to partially fund the Family Nurturing Center in Jackson County, ensuring that all services are provided in Josephine County. Did I say Josephine County both times? Okay. Good. I'm getting confused now with all the J counties. All right. Do we have a second?
Wait a minute.
Okay, hold on real quick. So we have a second from Amy. Any discussion?
For clarification,
yep.
The funding is for Josephine County and for all services to be in Josephine County. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, because you first said Jackson County for all services in Josephine.
So I thought I may have done that. I'm sorry. I'm getting my J counties confused. Okay. So Sydney, would you please reread the motion for me, because I clearly cannot do it.
I have motion to partially fund Family Nurturing Center, ensuring that funding goes to Josephine County and not Jackson.
All right, perfect. It's been a long day. Okay, any more discussion? Hearing none. Walter, when you're ready.
All right. Motion to partially fund for Family Nurturing Center, Josephine County. Melinda, how do you vote?
Yes to partially fund.
Okay. Onisha?
Yes to partially fund.
Okay. Ron?
Yes.
Okay. Amy?
Couldn't find my button. Yes.
All right. Hubert? Hubert, you there? All right. Hubert.
I'll shoot Hubert a text.
Yeah. All right. And Lana, how do you vote?
Yeah. Yes to partially fund.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Oh, there you go. Hubert, how do you vote? Did you hear the motion?
What was the motion again? I didn't hear the motion.
Yes, partially funding them as it pertains to the county they apply.
Yeah, I'm with partially funding.
Okay. All right. That motion passes with 6 to partially fund Family Nurturing Center, Josephine County. Back to you, Jessica.
Thank you. So that concludes Josephine County. I do want to call out that Onisha requested to bring something to the subcommittee. So Onisha?
Yes, I just had a question for my subcommittee about the last person we ended on, MHAO. We had given them a full yes vote, and then the technology had kicked me out, and I finally got back in and requested the proposal because there was a red flag for me for the 8 million request. And then I made a motion to do partial funding with no real property and knocking out the consultation fees. And then we re-voted again, and it was like our last one. And then the way we voted was that they ended up getting no funding. And so with the way everybody voted yes, and then I brought it back to challenge it for a partial, and we re-voted, and everybody ended up, not everybody, but the way that vote ended up landing, they ended up getting nothing. And so I guess I just wanted to ask the subcommittee if that was our intention, if that was everybody's intention, for them to end up getting no funding at all.
Thanks, Onisha. Does anybody have any thoughts? I think we all remember this.
Well, I remember that. I remember it. I do. But that's why we vote. And I know it's unfortunate that we had technical difficulties, and yeah, but some people are going to get funded, some are not. That's just the reality of it.
Right.
You know,
and I
and
definitely
that's
am
just
not challenging anybody at all. I want to make that clear.
Right.
I just know it had been a long day.
Yes, it
and
had.
you know, and I just wanted to give us space to make sure that's really what we wanted to do. And if that is what it is what it is.
I think from this experience, because this really was the first time that we are doing this fully. And so I think the next time we do it, we can always go back to the council and talk about things that we could probably improve on, and put things in place so people can have a better opportunity to get funded when they put proposals out there, right? And you know, because I really don't like not to fund agencies. I really don't, because everybody's doing their part in this work, right? But we have to people needs to figure out how they're going to be able to get a proposal out there that's not going to not pass, right? And the reality is we cannot fund everybody because we don't have the funds to fund everybody. But the good thing about this is that it's just not a one-time thing. See, proposals this is ongoing, so people can reapply again and write a better proposal, and maybe they'll get funded the next time. That's why I really don't. And then today, you know, there was some money being allocated by the state again. So there's money coming down for people to be able to get funded in other places they didn't get funded here.
So just to be clear about this, both recommendations from OHA were yes. I was one of the reviewers on the proposal before it went to OHA. My recommendation was yes. Then we voted to fully fund the proposal. Then the proposal, because Onisha was unable to participate in the debate, we tabled it and then brought it back the second day. And folks who voted for it to be fully funded then voted against the proposal altogether. And so the challenge is that this is an excellent proposal, and the proposal was, you know, it offered housing, it offered peer support, it offered to create a drop-in center with peers available 24/7. It was more than an admin building. It was a drop-in center and housing and peers and ongoing support for people in the housing. It was a tremendous proposal. The sticking point was funding the property. The proposer needs that property for the drop-in center to have the 24/7 access for people to come to the site and receive services. So it wasn't the quality of the proposal that was being voted on. It's an excellent proposal with tremendous capability to expand services in outer Southeast Portland, build permanent ongoing housing. So it wasn't the quality of proposal. It was the manner in which the debate was carried out, and the kind of inconsistency from full funding and then no funding. That in and of itself could be considered an irregularity. And so, you know, if it were me, I would encourage us to go ahead, Onisha.
I just want us to be careful with how we're talking about this and not to use language that is making it seem like if somebody did something incorrect. My whole reason for creating this space is to make sure that I give other people the opportunity to think about, is that what they wanted to do, or was there some confusion? Because there was some confusion with the way the vote went down. And I don't think it has anything to do with anybody's inability to read a proposal or have a healthy discussion and evaluate and disagree fairly, because we're not always going to disagree. And I'm not targeting any one person. I just wanted to create space because there was some confusion because technology came into play and I was kicked out. And so that brought some confusion to the surface. So as me being an individual, to ensure that that confusion didn't dilute anyone's ability to make a clear, conscious decision about exactly what they wanted to do. And I never would challenge what they felt they wanted to do or try to sway what they wanted to do. I just wanted to be clear that they had some space to know that this was the outcome. And if they stand on that, I'm not trying to make them feel bad for that. I'm not trying to make them feel like they're less intelligent than me. I'm not talking at them. I'm not saying anything about the proposal or not, because the proposal can be well written and we can still disagree with how the money is being spent. And I think that is where we settled here. So I just want to be careful to how we're talking to people. We're all, ain't no big me, little you. We're all the same here. And we need to stop talking at each other and talk to each other. And I think we'll get a little bit farther.
No, I agree with you. I was just trying to create what in my mind was a cohesive narrative of what took place without pointing any fingers.
So does anybody else have any thoughts or feelings that they'd like to share? I just wanted to give some information around what is possible here. The subcommittee can overvote any vote that they choose, as we learned in the situation. And so there's room to talk, there's room to make a motion if somebody wants to make a motion, and there's room to leave it where it is. So I just wanted everyone to be aware of your array of options, and I'm gonna step back.
And in our ability to bring something up that was denied, my reason for asking about this is because now that we're finally done with all of this, we have the opportunity, if there is a surplus, and we don't know that because they still have to negotiate these contracts. But if there is a surplus, like we had a certain amount of money to give out, if we underfund it, or if there's money left over from somewhere else, is there ability to take, or would you guys even be interested in taking a second look thoroughly as somebody who got denied that you felt strongly about that you would like to bring to the table? Like if everybody got one person to bring back to the table to maybe partially fund in some way, or have everyone take a second look at and see if you could sway them to partially fund or bring them to the table so we could evaluate them to be partially funded. Because I do feel like we were kind of rushed through this process, that there was a lot of pressure on all of us to meet this deadline because the rubrics didn't get done. They took the rubrics, then they gave them to people, and then that timeline didn't pan out. So we still were behind. So a lot of it wasn't on us, but we were working under that pressure. And now some of that pressure is off. And I just didn't know if you guys were interested, or do we just want to walk away and leave it as is?
Well, I asked that question earlier before the process was started about when we would be denying funds, that what would happen with that excess money. And I had that same kind of feeling. I was wondering down the road, could we just revisit people that, but then to me, that would be kind of, because the person wrote proposals, and who would we let, if it's only so much money, who would we let have that money that's left over, and who would we not? So it'd almost be kind of like we'd have to really have a plan in place to do that.
So the Senate Bill 755 states that.
Can we hear from Melinda, please, and Amy? I'm not trying to be rude, Ron, and you
No, I
can
just
go
want to
after him.
respond just to the point that Hubert was making, which is that Senate Bill 755 requires that any funds left over after funding the burns could go to access to care grants. I was just going to make that point.
Thanks, Ron. Amy?
Well, I just, I think I really appreciate all the hard work we're doing and how we all come together with our different personalities and views, and we're able to talk through it. It's super important that we're able to do that. Onisha, I really appreciate you bringing this back. I think that if there was something left, the concern that I would have with that is that there's a lot of counties. And what if other people had their concerns as well? And how would that work? Like, what would that look like? I think we need to look at the counties as to what's missing before we would reallocate any leftover funding would be a good idea. But I just think that we need to leave it where it's at right now and see where these counties lie, where things end up. That's how I feel.
Okay, so I wasn't going to say anything else, but I feel like I really need to say this to everyone here. There isn't going to be any leftover money. Like, I know everybody feels like there's probably going to be leftover money, but in reality, there's no such thing as leftover money, right?
Right.
And I think right now you are in a situation where if you chose to do something different here, regardless whether you do or not, right now is the time to do it if you want to do it. If you don't want to do it, then don't. But I'm just saying, in subcommittee, while the subcommittee is still active right now, would be the time to do that. That's all. Thank you.
Melinda, please speak.
Yes. So I read this proposal and I voted yes. I'm not at the house right now, so I can look over everything and tell you why, but I know that I did vote yes. And when we did a second vote, I abstained because I didn't want to partially fund.
See, that's what happened. If you would have voted yes on the partially funded, they would have got something. And when you voted no, that's what I kind of figured happened. Because too many of us weren't willing to fully fund, so we were willing to partially fund without the real property. And without the real property and the subcontractors was minus $4 million and like $4,600,000. So they still would have got like $3 million for their peer services.
So Jessica, are we able to do that?
That'll be very sticky. That'll be a sticky situation.
Okay, hold on, y'all.
It was a mistake that Melinda made, and then she didn't know that they weren't getting anything.
Oh yeah, I did.
Oh, yeah, by their vote. Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Okay, so we just need to talk.
I mean, it's either all or nothing, right? I mean, I said I want it fully funded. You said partially funded, but I want it fully funded. So,
well, would you be willing to partially fund so they can get something?
We cannot go back.
Okay, hold on. So
if we do this, I'm sorry. If we bring this back to the table and give them some money, we're going to have to revisit everybody else. I'm telling you.
Not necessarily, because we're not bringing up everybody else. This is one entity that we're bringing up that there was some confusion around because somebody didn't have internet, and the vote went Willy Wonka. We haven't did that with all the other ones.
And Melinda's intention was to fund them in some capacity.
Uh-huh.
And that ended up being the final vote, the partial funding.
All right. Well, the majority rules on the council what we want to do. That's why we vote on stuff. So if y'all make a motion, then we got to. That's the procedure.
Can I please make a motion to reopen partially funding MHAAO, please?
Okay, so you don't need to make a motion to reopen it. All you have to do is, all you have to do is make a motion. So if you would like to make your motion, Onisha, please feel free to do so.
I would like to make a motion to partially fund MHAO without the real property or the consultation fees.
I'll second Onisha's motion.
Okay, so we have a motion to partially fund MHAAO minus the real property and consultation fees from Onisha. We have a second from Amy. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none. Walter, when you're ready.
All right. Motion on the table to partially fund MHAAO, Multnomah County. Melinda, how do you vote?
Oh, we just lost Melinda. Okay.
Let's wait.
Yeah, we'll
wait.
We'll wait.
We
All
can
right.
take the other votes and
Yeah.
then make
And we'll
sure
wait for
we
her.
get Melinda's.
Yeah. Onisha, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
All right. Ron?
Come back to me.
Amy?
I vote yes.
Okay. Hubert?
I abstain.
All right. Lana?
I abstain.
Melinda's back.
Okay, so I just missed all of that because my connection was lost. So what did you say?
So
I made a motion.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Jessica.
Oh, so we have a motion from Onisha to partially fund MHAAO minus the real property and the consultation costs.
Yes.
We have a yes.
Partially fund.
We have a
Okay.
yes from Melinda.
All right. And back to Ron.
Yes.
Hey. All right.
So what
Yeah.
happens because we had two people abstain? What happens?
So we have.
Go ahead.
No,
Sorry,
go ahead.
Walter. No. 4 people carries it. So it
Thank you.
passed. Yeah. All
So
right.
that passes. So I'll say it just to make sure. So that passes to partially fund MHAAO, Multnomah County. Back to you, Jessica.
Thank you.
I want to thank Onisha for her interest in bringing this back and having a full discussion about it. I really appreciate the heart that you had on this, and I thank everybody for having an open mind and being able to enter this conversation with some real thoughtfulness and care. Thank you all.
Thanks all of y'all, man. This has been a wild ride. I want to cry. This has been a lot of work. We made a difference. We made some enemies, unfortunately.
You see?
But we made a big difference in our community.
We
and we
did.
made a huge sacrifice. And I hope you guys are like super proud of yourself.
I'm super proud of myself. I like the way the system just worked right then. That's how it's supposed to work, just like it did.
I'll miss our team meetings.
We'll have some more.
Oh, you can't shake us on Wednesdays though. We're still together. You got us for another 3 years of your life. So
That's right.
All right, everyone.
All right, everybody.
So much.
Have a great weekend, y'all.
So this
All right.
is done.
Yeah.
Yeah, we done. We done.
Yep, you're done. That's
All right.
it. Woohoo.